All right, everyone, welcome to our it's bi-weekly webinar. I want to invite you all to spend a few minutes with us. We'll go over some of the things that were important over the last 3 weeks because we have had Thanksgiving. So a couple of things that we have looked at is what have we done with family over this time frame? What has occurred? It was a different holiday for a lot of us and what's going on. So in this, we just want to make sure that we are expressing our gratitude to you for your adaptability. We're expressing our sympathy for those of you who had people who've been affected by COVID in some way. Also by the second pandemic, which is called the election pandemic. It hasn't ended. We know that. We know many of you have different sides of the equation, but there will be an end to it at some point in time. But we're really still seeing some interesting ideas and questions from clients based on that as well. And you know our opinion. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through. But going big, I want to begin in gratitude by saying this Thanksgiving was big for me as far as realizing what is important, traditions, time with family, time with people, and how much I miss maybe not being able to do what I've done. But more importantly, how I'm going to appreciate the time I do get to spend with them in the future and not waste it. So that's a big, big portion for me in the going big this holiday, if you will, and right now. How about yourself, Ken?
Yeah, Chris. Hello, everybody. Great to be on the phone call with you as well. Yeah, the traditions were a big one. We missed a tradition this year of our pie making contest, and I'm absolutely grateful for hopefully getting back to that next year where we all taste each other's pie and then we rank them at the end, and whoever wins gets a World Wrestling Federation belt that you get to wear. So something a little goofy we do in our family, but is a tradition that I missed this year, and certainly looking forward to that next year. So the gratitude is definitely traditions, because it's what keeps us all together.
Thank you, Ken. How about yourself, Zach?
Yeah, it was a great Thanksgiving, full of gratitude, and sometimes for that whole week after, different things hit you at different times that you're grateful for. And this morning specifically, for some reason, it just hit me that extra grateful for the Gentian family. So that's you guys, that's our team here, and just woke up extremely excited to get to work on a Wednesday morning. So just grateful for the Gentian family today.
That's awesome. Thank you tremendously, Zach. And I'm gonna, Ashley, did you want to have a chance here to go over some of the housekeeping, the things that we need to keep everything going and allow us to do what we do?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Chris. I am here to give you a little bit of this month's housekeeping, I should say, because we are in full swing here at Gentian for the month of December. So you probably have seen it already, but just a reminder, tomorrow, December the 3rd, Thursday evening, we will begin our Gentian holiday event that will be hosted by Chris. We'll kick things off at 6:30 p.m. again tomorrow evening, and that is Central Time for anyone that is out of our Central Time zone. Don't forget to register. You will need that link that is sent to your email in order to log in and check out the songwriter event. Again, Josh Keir has written songs for Carrie Underwood, Lady A, and many other country artists that you will hear and enjoy tomorrow evening. So please join us tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. This Saturday is also a big Gentian event. We are hosting and we'll be on site at the Winter Wonderland Light Show in Grafton, Wisconsin. That will begin at 4:45 when we light up the evening for the festivities that begin at 5 p.m. So we look forward to seeing those of you that can join us physically on site. Again, our team will be there, and please wave and say hello to us if you're able to. Don't forget to get your car passes, so definitely send Gentian an email, and we will get that car pass out to you so that you can enjoy the evening with us. 2 weeks from now, we have a big week ahead, or 2 weeks, and just to save the date, for our Gentian True Wealth Interactive Discovery Session. Again, we are hosting that on December the 15th. Please watch for an email in regards to more details, registration information. Again, December the 15th. Wednesday, December the 16th will be our next bi-monthly Wednesday webinar. So again, please keep an eye on your emails for that. And that same week, that Thursday, December the 17th, we will be hosting our Gentian Women's event. Again, that will be more of a holiday focused event. And if you want to participate in the Gentian Ornament Exchange for Our Ladies event, again, a completely optional event, please check your email and there'll be some more details in regards to the exchange on there. Just one last thing is to keep an eye out also in your emails. You'll see emails from Gentian as well as Lisa and Julie and Angie on our team in regards to scheduling your yearly meetings. And if you have any questions or looking for more information, please check out our gentianfinancial.com website for events and other videos in case you've missed them. Back to you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. So I know we got a big event coming up here. We were actually very fortunate to spend some time with Josh and two of our good friends, Tim Fries and David Adams, in Africa last year with one of the trips, and it was an interesting one. So I got to know Josh very well. You're really going to enjoy tomorrow night for those of you who are in it. If not, you can get more information from Ashley on that. But I decided this one thing would be quite funny. Now, one thing you got to watch out for Josh, because he's wild at heart, and you got to look out before he cheats, because I believe most people are good. Some people are redneck crazy. But I want to let you know one thing. We need you now, and you're going to be blown away. By the way, those are all titles of his songs. I can go even further into it. I just wanted to give you a concatenated version. But those were the titles of some of his songs. He's got 4 Grammys in there as well, a bunch of AMA awards as well. But it's kind of fun. I went through all of his titles. And again, his titles are like a country song. Oh, wait. They are country songs. At any rate, it's kind of funny. So a little humor. You know, you guys like to know I joke. And I haven't joked a lot lately because of some of the things going on. I guess I probably could. But one of the biggest things I wanted to do is I did have a couple of Thanksgiving jokes. It's probably too late to tell them now, but that's okay. So I want to ask you a question, and this is kind of an interesting one. It's a dad joke, if you will. But if pilgrims traveled on the Mayflower, what do college students travel on? They travel on scholarships. Again, you can use that one. That one's kind of good. I think that was kind of funny. Also, what do you, in this is a good, when do you serve a tofu turkey? On Pranksgiving. No, I say that for my aunt because my aunt introduced me to something called tofurkey once down in Zion, Illinois, and it was interesting. It was different for me, but I heard of tofurkey. So at any rate, a couple of things that we wanted to kind of share there on the fun side of the equation, which we haven't done in a while. But I do think there's a lot of things going on. You know, there's an election that isn't fully decided, and some people view it one way or the other. The economy, again, remember, it looks for there to be some resolution. So the fact that the election is the voting part was over, now the counting and other stuff are there, there's going to be some resolutions. And from Ken and I and Zach, we're getting some really interesting client conversations. I'll talk a bit more about as we go forward here. But some of the people are really still very strongly angst-ridden about this. And if so-and-so, or if this, if that, I got to tell you, I've studied this historically. And from my advice and opinion and what I've read over time, there will be a candidate that wins that eventually is ultimately going to be president. And they are going to be steering the ship that we're all in. And I shared that a couple times ago. I really would like to say the captain of that ship is hopefully successful, be it the one I chose or be it the one I didn't choose. I'm going to support whoever it is. That's just my opinion. Everybody can have a different opinion. But I'd love for us to have some unified vision of us all moving toward greatness in some form. But I know a lot of people are still kind of calling in and they've got, well, if this happens, economically, when you look at the world and you look at politics, they don't coincide. It's typically a political regime does not blow the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm not going to start Facebook. I'm not going to start Airbnb. I'm not going to start DoorDash because of who's president. That doesn't happen. As long as we still have entrepreneurial impressiveness in America, we're going to be great. I'll talk about Future Loop and some of the things happening here just a bit later. One thing I just wanted to share, I'm going to call it purpose. This is my kind of word for it today. It's purpose. And this has really given me a lot of time this year to reflect on this. And a lot of us, a lot of clients have said this too. What's my purpose? And really look at it. I'd like to say that purpose in life is far more important than property or possessions. And it's really interesting. As I looked at it, it's a really great statement. Having more to live with is no substitute for having more to live for. When you look at that, I got collect homes, I got this, I got that. It doesn't make them happy, but when they find their purpose, it is. For instance, I'd say 2 of the greatest days in life are the day you were born and the day to figure out why you were born. So those are 2 pieces I want to bring to purpose. They're just fun pieces I want you to understand. Very, very important in life that we do find some purpose, even beyond it once we retire. And I know Ken and Zach will talk a bit more about that as we go along. But I just wanted to share that. There's some really important pieces here again, and I'll just keep it short with that piece. I would say who we are and what our purpose is one of the most important things we can figure out. And by the way, some of us don't figure it out till super late in life, 70, 80, 60. It's just maybe 90, but it's never too late to figure out what our purpose is. Anyway, anything we can do to help you do that, we've got a couple of gratitude journeys. We've got a couple of true wealth journeys we've done with clients that they have really done. We did a webinar. We got one coming up in later in December here as well, maybe the 15th. Really, we encourage you, if it's something you'd like to partake in, try it out. It's been really good for those who've tried out and enjoyed it, and it's something we want to offer to you as well, just as part of what we do. With that, what I'd like to do is turn over to some of the markets. What's going on in some of the markets, Zach? How about for the month of November? What's going on?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It was, as many of you know, for many reasons, and some of them Chris highlighted, it was certainly an interesting month. We won't focus on any of those, but on the market side, an absolutely incredible month, and we'll share some of those ideas with you. We'll start with just the year-to-date numbers for some of the U.S. markets, the major things that happened in November, and then also just a financial planning idea and scenario that we've come across recently within the last few months, which is job change and all the decisions that come along with those as well. So first things first, just year-to-date numbers for the U.S. markets that you often see on TV and hear about. The Dow Jones Industrial Average year-to-date up 4.5%. The S&P 500 up 13.36. The NASDAQ up 37.70. Again, the NASDAQ's a little bit more technology-based. Those numbers do not sound like a year that 2020 has been, or with how March was as well. So a great perspective that way, that things can change in a hurry as well in those. But November in review, Dow Jones had its best month since 1987. So since January of 1987, Dow Jones had its best returning month of 11.9%. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ had their best since April of this year, with a 10.7% and 11.9% respective return for those. And then one of the biggest notes of November was the Russell 2000, which is an index that tracks both small cap and mid cap companies. And that had its best since it's been tracked since 1984, with an 18.3% return. So just another stark example of why we diversify, why we're not trying to just be in large cap, just be in bonds or whatever, and have different asset classes and be diversified as much as we can to take advantage of some of those, because we don't know when they're going to happen. On the global side, November was also a great month on the global side for the global index that we often take a look at to see how the global markets are doing. The MSCI World Index is up 12.66%. And the emerging markets up 9.2%. So just really an incredible month all across the board, and just another great example of why to diversify, not put all of our eggs in one basket, and to contain elements of all of those within our portfolio. The last thing that I wanted to mention with you guys here today is just a financial planning topic that has come up for some of you that are watching here, maybe for your kids or grandkids as well, and that's a job change. Especially in 2020, it has come with a lot of different questions and a lot of things to think about. Is it work from home? Is it into the office part-time? What are the benefits like as far as insurance, healthcare? All of these different things are massive decisions with a job change, as many of you know. And one of those that we've come across as well that often gets overlooked is what to do with my retirement benefits at my previous company. And what we found is that sometimes some mistakes happen, or things get put off to the side if they're not addressed or looked at right away. So, if old benefits are Roth or pre-tax, how is that going to go? And with any old retirement plan at a previous company, you always have a few decisions to make, which is you can always leave it there, you can move it to a new company, or you can roll it into an IRA that you have as well. And we take great pride in here in educating on what decision makes most sense for you, because each individual scenario, the answer could be completely different for some of you as well. And just one recent pitfall that we, not necessarily a pitfall, but just something to be aware of, is if you maxed out your 401k partway through the year of 2020 at a previous firm, move to a new one, make sure you're careful of what you put into the new 401k before the year is over. So a bunch of different things that we look at there. And if yourself or any of your family members have questions on these, or recently made a job change and haven't looked at that, just let us know, and we're always here to help.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. One of the things we find is a lot of clients will automatically introduce us to their friends or their family or people who really need help. And thank you so much for that. I just want to make sure you understand we're a resource from that. You know, Ken, myself, Zach, Peter, our whole team is a resource for you. We've designed it to be that way. We've created this team to be different, to be able to be there and help you when you're in need or when somebody you need is in need. A lot of times, too, it might just be a kid with a question that's yours. And we understand this. So those may be some of your most important needs. So thank you, Zach, for saying that as well. And I know I echo that sentiment for Ken as well. Ken, how about some of the planning things that you're seeing right now?
Absolutely, Chris. So now we're going to talk about a topic that people said that we do pretty well. It's called retirement. And so I actually, if I can share my screen, I want to show just a little comic here real quick, just for some levity, some fun stuff here. Let me see if I can show it to you. I think I can. Here it is. Now there's a gentleman with his feet up on the desk with coffee to the side of him reading the newspaper, and the guy walks in and says, "George, when are you going to make your retirement official?" So I thought that was pretty fun to kind of kick this segment off as far as retirement goes. Now, what I wanted to talk about today is things you have told us that have been helpful along the way in helping yourself plan for retirement. And that's what we want to do. Okay. You can see Chris drinking out of his Chris cup there. I thought that was pretty funny. So here we go. So these are things that you thought were most helpful and when planning for your retirement. Now, number one, and these are in no particular order by any means, the 4% rule. Sometimes you get to a point you're like, have I saved enough? A lot of times we've had those conversations with you already before you already think about that question to yourself. We've been having those conversations, but the 4% rule, this came out in 1994, I think, by a guy named Bill Bengen out of California. 4% rule. Take a look at your overall bucket of money that you have saved, 401ks, IRAs, trust accounts, personal accounts, and times that by 4%. That is the amount that is a reasonable amount that you can expect to spend out of your retirement portfolio on an annual basis. And that money will usually last as long as you do, okay? Now, number two, cash reserves. When you're thinking about retirement 2 or 3 years beforehand, think about your cash reserves. Think about what you have on the sidelines that's not part of the market. That's your go-to money for whatever comes up. A lot of things that come up in life, we have no idea that they're even going to happen, but we need to be prepared for them. Hence, cash reserves. Somewhere between 20 and 70,000 usually is an average number that we do see. That's a very stable number for most people, but your number is your number. You know what you're comfortable with. We've had these conversations. What are you comfortable with by having in cash that makes you fall asleep just fine at night? That's probably the right amount that you should have there. Health insurance planning, it's a big one. Whether you're eligible for like a retiree health benefit from your company, that's one aspect of it. You know, if you're age 65 and retiring, if you have a scenario that you're not sure with anymore, let us know. We'll put you in touch with the right people, and then, you know, go through the process. Pretty simple, and then you'll know if you have the best plan or not. If you're under 65 and you're retiring, say at 61, you know, health insurance planning is usually the number one key that we talk about with us there. So let us know. We'll happy to have the conversation with you. Withdrawals. How do you create a paycheck from your investments? You know, very simple for us because we do it every day, but not simple for you because you retire once basically, maybe sometimes twice, depends on what you're doing. But how do you get money from your investment accounts? What we do here is we ask you the question of, if Social Security is going to be hitting your checking account on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of the month, you know, do you want all your money to happen, hit your checking account at one time? Or do you think of your money differently? Do you have bills that come due on the 1st? Do you have bills that come due on the 15th or the 30th? You know, we can set this up on a monthly withdrawal, basically, however you need it. It could be on the 1st, could be on the 10th, could be on the 7th, whatever it is. That's something that will help you with that. We do direct deposits to your checking account or savings account, however you think about your money. Special withdrawals, cars, travel, things that aren't necessarily part of your monthly budget that you practice on for so long for retirement on, but things that, you know, hey, you know what, my car's not doing so well. It's time for a new car. You know, we plan for that with you. We'll talk to you about that. We have buckets of money inside of your portfolio to handle those special withdrawals. I have a small mortgage left on the house. What should I do? Maybe this is a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 mortgage that you may have left on the house. Do I pay it off? Do I not? I'm heading into retirement. What should I do? Typically, if you're that far along in your mortgage, you're paying mostly principal You're not really paying a lot of interest at that point in time. So it depends on what you have in your cash reserves as well. That kind of comes in the equation there. 401k and portfolio tweaks. You know, if we're 2 to 3 years away from retirement, we're going to do some tweaking to your portfolio. We might pull back a touch as far as aggressiveness, or we might do some other things as far as preparing your assets for more of an income approach, you know, so you can get money out of your portfolio so you have secured income when you're in retirement. Working with your accountant on the best and optimal way to pull money out of your accounts. You may have 3 different accounts. You may have a Roth, you may have a traditional IRA, you may have a trust or a personal account. We're going to work with your accountant to figure out on how best to take those withdrawals. Some may come from one account, some may come from a different account, so we don't jump up and actually increase our taxes when we don't really need to. So we'll optimize those withdrawals for you. And number 9, again, in no particular order, but practice retirement. It's probably the biggest thing that we will tell you to do if you're 2 or 3 or 4 years away from retirement. Start practicing. See if what you can live on and live on comfortably in retirement is going to be enough for you. That's a great way to do that. So, you know, some people retire and then they, oh, okay, let's figure this out. But most people that are successful in retirement want to have a little bit of a plan. And again, that 2 or 3 years time frame is really good to start practicing what your retirement benefits will look like. So I think those are the top 9. Usually people do top 10. I did top 9 for whatever reason. But I'll hand it back over to Chris, and he can share some more words of wisdom with us.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Let me give you 10 then. So I had a client recently, a prospect actually, who we're talking with. I'll give you the 10th one. So they asked me, they're a physician, successful, you know, at an age where they can retire, 67 or so, and asked a question, when should I retire? So I actually came up with it. It inspired me to look at this together. And I put it in a way, I've done a lot of thought on this in time, a lot of study on this. And I said, actually, when you retire, number 1, when your finances are appropriate for retirement. We can go through that. But number 2, and most importantly, when you have a what and a why that replaces your present what and why. So for instance, do not go into retirement without a plan for what you're going to do and for purpose, because that's where we see a lot of the biggest mistakes made. They're not necessarily financial. They're the non-financial, the soft mistakes that actually, without a purpose. Okay, well, everybody said I should retire. Did you really want to? Did you love what you do? Well, yeah, I love what I do. Why did you retire at 65? You were just at your peak of your game. So that was a good one. Maybe that's number 10, Ken, but that kind of usurps everything or that kind of encapsulates what you're talking about too. There's a lot of pieces we can go through. A couple things I wanted to say as well. This year, there's the virus spike. I mean, maybe make this statement. For those of you that have stayed on plan, which is the majority, almost all of our clients, I want to congratulate you. You have just endured a full bear market year with the virus spiking that came out of left field, caused all sorts of people to panic. Which is absolutely amazing. Also, you had the second pandemic, which is the election, and an election cycle has its own issues. Right in the middle of that, we had this as well. You actually had a ton of the market surging during a time when everybody thought it would correct. So think if you sold during this, just think about that. And the market went up 14% during the month that you thought, oh, I'm going to get out because it's all uncertain. You just got to be careful, because one thing it illustrates is you never know. Why do you stay with the plan? Why do we recommend it? It may seem like we're boring. No, we've looked at what actually makes you successful, and it's the plan. It's not the jumping in and buying out. That's actually what makes you unsuccessful. The data we study from DeBoer and others shows you that's the biggest detriment to most people's returns in retirement is their own meddling in markets. So get a good plan, stick with it. That's with us or even with anyone else. I just want to congratulate most of you who have done that piece as well. One thing I want to do as well, if I may, is I want to share, I just wrote a Thanksgiving, my prayer for Thanksgiving. I had written it down and thoughts about it. So what I'd like to do, if I may, is just kind of end with that. And I'll tell you that at the very end here. But before I do that, I'm going to go into Future Loop. Future Loop is, again, something that we get a ton of this. I get this every day. And what it does for me is it really puts me in a period of so this is just yesterday's, for instance. Lucid Motors completes a $700 million factory to produce its first electric cars. And by the way, where's that going to be? That is going to be in Phoenix, Tucson, Arizona. Shenzhen turned all of its 16,000 buses fully electric. So people say China's not really helping with the environment. There's a huge change very quickly. Wave 1 aims to make native AI video turn streaming upside down. There's a little pink robot here that actually shows you tiny delivery robots are being tested in Toronto. This is just around the corner, literally. A little pink robot is just around the corner about to deliver stuff to you guys. Rather than all the trucks that you see coming out, you're going to start to see drones in some areas do that too. Russia's Sberbank decides that it's going to offer its own cryptocurrency, its own token currency, like the cryptocurrency. Lawmakers want data to decide the future of America's electric vehicle infrastructure. So where should the chargers be? How should this best work? You're finding Tesla's full driving self-beta may expand quite soon, meaning full test driving or full driving may be nationwide or may expanding it to try to get to nationwide for full driverless cars. Computer printed out implants can actually heal broken bones. So if you have a broken bone having trouble healing, they can actually give you an implant that gives you infrastructure to heal that broken bone. Version 1 sets dates for its second try at a unique rocket launch from an airplane from orbit. SpaceX has a new rocket that could finally send people and humans to Mars. That's just every day. That stuff happens on a continual basis for us. So in other words, imagine getting that in your inbox rather than listening to the news who's deciding to keep you on for whatever they can that's negative out there. So that's what we get on a constant basis to feed ourselves and our minds. Let me end with this. So it's a Thanksgiving. I want to express my gratitude in a little different way. And I guess I'm going to share with some vulnerability what I had said to my family on Thanksgiving in my prayer. So today, this is how I started it. Today, I feel a warm sense of gratitude for many things. First of all, thank you to God our Father for the blessings you have given us that we can see, and also for those we often overlook. I especially want to thank you for the tough times and the things that we have to go through. After all, that is how you show us what we're made of and lift us to higher places. I want to thank you for, I said in this case, the present issues that we're facing, to provide a chance for us to slow down and realize and cherish most and showing us what we can do without. So what is it we most enjoy and what can we do without? For showing me that life is not a contest of business or who can accomplish the most. For showing us that slowing down and self-reflecting, forgiving ourselves, for realizing that we were taking cherished things for granted, for giving a home its first smell of the season. I want to thank you for strengthening our family. I want to thank you for my spouse, because as Michael Jackson said, the girl is mine. A little kind of funny. Thank you for my beautiful, strong mother who brought me into this world and raised me up in her unique, caring, and thoughtful way. Thank you for my daughters, their strength and kindness, their humor and cleverness, their tough times that are the beginning to reveal the diamonds within them. Thank you for helping me find my why and my vocation. Thank you for helping me realize how important the experiences in life are and to show us how much I miss things like showing up at Grandma Kathy's house. And then I've got a list of all the different things we normally do. I just wanted to say I'm appreciating them much, much more this year than ever. I wanted to share that with you. That was just a piece that I had said, written, and I wanted to make sure was maybe shared just to give you. And the same thing could be said for the holidays coming up. I really want to thank you for our team and our Gentian here. This team is phenomenal. You as part of our team are phenomenal. You may call us a client. We all believe that you're here more as a family and a friend. So we really appreciate that. We know that you guys stay grateful. We know that getting you through tough times is what we're doing as much as we possibly can. That's what we're here for. This is our vocation. We have a team of people who are here to help get you through times just like this and maybe even worse in the future. I just want to make sure that you know that we're here for you, and we appreciate all the thanks and gratitude and introductions you're giving to us. We'll continue to spend our time building our team to serve you as best as we possibly can, and most importantly, have the relationships with you that we can as well. So we really want to thank you. So stay grateful, stay kind, stay engaged with people, and more importantly, go out and communicate with somebody today. Reach out to them, to somebody who maybe needs to hear from you, because maybe they don't have someone else to do that. Spend a little extra time doing that and going out of your way. With that, I want to thank you. Have a great, great week or two. And we hope that if you have any questions, anything, feel free to reach out to us. And we'll see you on Thursday for those who are in the local area. We'll see you on Saturday at the Show of Lights, which is basically if you go up by Costco here in Grafton, you're going to see it in the sky because it's quite bright. Just past Costco, if you will. We really look forward to seeing you. And we know it's different this year. Your traditions are a little different. Cherish the ones you've had and take this chance to really appreciate and make unique this one. So thank you very much again from all of us here at the Gentian team.